Hey then, welcome to After Work. My name is Valentine, and in this channel we talk about various data science topics that are important when you're starting out your data science career. If such topics interest you, be sure to subscribe to this channel. So today we're going to be talking about what exactly is machine learning, and this is a word that normally it's usually used, it's a buzzword. It's normally used in many contexts to describe how data science can or artificial intelligence can change the world. Basically, what it can do for your competitive advantage, which may or may not necessarily be. So this video will help you to understand what exactly is machine learning, when do you use machine learning, and how, in terms of applications, do you apply or do you use machine learning so that you know exactly what you need to learn when it comes to machine learning in general. So let's get started. What is machine learning? So machine learning, in simple terms, is the process by which a computer system learns from historical data. So as a good example, you might say, if you're working with machine learning in healthcare, you might have collected data about about patients, and it could be demographics data, it could be symptoms that they've had when they were visiting a hospital. It could also be the lab results, and there could be a variable of interest or piece of data that's of interest, which should be the category of disease that all the patients that you've collected have had. So it could be that you have a historical data that contains all that data, and you would in turn create a computer system, which you normally call models. You would create that particular model and then train it to know that these particular sets of say these particular patients who exhibited these particular set of maybe symptoms would be having this particular disease. So you would train a computer system to learn from historical data that you had collected, and then that particular computer system, which we'll call a model, would then make predictions about future patients. So based on all the features, all the data that you will have collected about a new patient, you can be able to automatically classify or categorize that this particular patient has a certain disease. So that is basically the process. That is basically machine learning, being able to train a computer system to learn from historical data and so that it can be able to make new predictions. In terms of types of machine learning, there are three different kinds of machine learning. There's supervised machine learning, there's unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. And supervised simply entails being able to train what are called being able to train those computer systems which we mentioned are called models. So if you are going to be training those computer systems based on some historical data, that you had collected earlier, then you would call that as supervised learning. If you're not going to train, you're going to tell a computer system to make predictions based on what it has seen within a data set. So you're not going to be training the model to learn. You're simply going to make predictions on whether, let's say, this particular record belongs to this particular category, or this other one belongs to this other category, based on just it learning, it's just going through the entire data set. Then in that case, that is called unsupervised learning. So it's different from supervised learning in that in supervised learning, you're training the model. In unsupervised learning, you're not training the model. And in reinforcement learning, you're basically having a computer system learn from errors. So if it makes, let's say, a particular prediction, maybe if it's going to be categorizing that this particular patient has this particular disease, if it makes a mistake, then it learns from that mistake so that in the future it does not make that particular mistake. So in terms of types of machine learning, those are the different types of machine learning. When do you use machine learning? So you normally use machine learning when making predictions given some data. If you have data and you need to make predictions, then you can use machine learning. If you would intend, say, maybe even to divide projects, maybe you have data about customers' data and you'd want to naturally subdivide that data into some distinct categories. Maybe if you have, say in that case of you have clients' data and you want to divide that client's data into different categories, then you can use machine learning, more specifically unsupervised learning, to do that. If you want also to discover patterns within your data set, you can also use machine learning. If you want to make future predictions for maybe numerical data, maybe if it's sales, which is numerical, it could be maybe some sort of, maybe if it's whether you might want to look at temperature, like you would want to predict temperature in maybe 2 or 3 weeks time, then you could use something like machine learning to make those sorts of predictions. Or if you want to make predictions that is of categorical in nature. Like categorical, it's just in terms of categories. Like we mentioned, you have different categories of diseases, and you would want to make predictions of that nature. Then you can still use machine learning. And lastly, if you would really want to ensure that you are automating some of the processes that you have in your organization, say if you want to automate maybe that process of being able to classify or make a prediction for numerical data, then you can be able to create those machine learning models which would do automatically that for you. Okay, so when it comes to how do you apply machine learning basically you use what are called programming languages. There's Python, there's R, and you could also use other different kinds of programming languages or tools to be able to create those models that would help you to make predictions. So you might use Python, and when it comes to learning about Python, there's specific what are called libraries. There's specific libraries that allow you to do that, such as sklearn or TensorFlow. And on the other hand, there's also, if you're going to be learning something like the R programming language, there's Caret, which would also give you the ability to create models for making numerical and categorical predictions. All right, so that's basically it in terms of just understanding what machine learning is and how you would apply it, and also when to use it. And hopefully as you continue to just learn more across different resources, you should have a good grasp and be able to effectively solve for what you're solving for, whether using machine learning or something else that would come in handy, maybe different type of analysis, not necessarily using machine learning, but also maybe just doing maybe descriptive analysis. All right, so that's it. If you liked this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you would want to be informed when we post such future videos, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and see you in the next video.